When it comes to solving environmental problems and changing behaviors, it's vital to get the younger generation on board. The best way to do that is to make climate action fun. Welcome to Eco Africa. I'm Chris Elems, coming to you from Lagos, Nigeria.
Technology has a lot to offer when it comes to tackling these issues together with some creative community-based thinking. I am Sandra Kahumza Twinobdio, right here in Kampala, Uganda. It is great to have you with us today. Here is what we have coming up. How to gamify environmental awareness, plants and panels, generating power on balconies, and farmers in Zimbabwe have found tasty ways to cut banana waste. Technology plays a huge role in our modern, interconnected world. New tools make things easier and save time and, of course, money. In farming too, technology can help farmers improve yields, fight diseases, and reduce unwanted impacts on local ecosystems. It can even play a role in getting young people into farming.
This drone is preparing the fields here for planting maize. The aerial spraying takes just 1 hour. Without this high-tech assistance, the job would take 4 people several hours. It is the first time that farmer Dela Bidia has used the AI-supported drone. He hopes it will have a positive effect on his yields.
After plowing, we use our knapsacks for spraying. But what we realized is, after the sprayers finish their job, you see patches that the spray or the chemicals don't touch. Technology has been an eye-opener.
Maslows Marty works for Precision Solutions. The company's AI-supported drones are still a rare sight here in Ghana. High-tech solutions like these are only gradually getting off the ground here, even though they can save farmers both time and money.
Imaginarily, farmers think it's expensive, knowing that it flies in the air. But it's a bit of a low climate where farmers are embracing it. We are having difficult times explaining to farmers, doing demonstrations for farmers in order for them to adapt the system.
The Afram Plains district in the east of the country is a key agricultural region. Maize is the main crop here and one of the country's most important foodstuffs. Ghana produces more than 3 million tons of maize a year, but experts fear that a number of threats could jeopardize the country's food supply long term.
The threat is real because if you look at Ghana and the sub-region, we are facing key challenges. First, there's growing population, and also the climate change, which is affecting climate variability.
In Ghana's capital, Accra, tech experts are experimenting with artificial intelligence to develop ways to combat the effects of climate change on farming. With the support of the German development agency GIZ, Darlington Akogo has developed a program that uses a drone to monitor developments on cashew plantations.
Even if you have a moderate-sized farm, instead of manually trying to walk in it, you see the cashew tree that we are standing right in front of. You can't see anything that is going above your height to the further extension. You can't see what is happening on top. So if there's some disease that is spreading from the top, it will come and attack everything and you wouldn't know. But then if you're using a drone, we can pinpoint it and let you know that this tree that is right behind us is infested.
The drone takes images of the trees, and these are then analyzed by the AI software Caddy AI. The program recognizes immediately which plants are diseased and where. The farmer can then react quickly before the disease spreads and causes major damage.
What the AI system does is it ranks the trees or the locations based on the volume of diseases and pests. Because you don't want to go after every sign of disease and pest or nutritional issue on your farm. The whole point is early detection of disease and pests. You don't wait for it to spread and destroy that many things. You catch it early, you do your various practices to curtail it, and then you end up saving your yield.
And technology can offer other benefits. Alfred Kwenu is one of Precision Solutions co-founders. Their tech uses artificial intelligence to monitor plant growth. Farmers can access the data themselves. They no longer have to get an expert in, which is too costly for many of them.
When we scan your field, we take pictures of your crops, we analyze it on a software, and then we are able to tell you how your crops are doing, if there are any infestations, if you have too much water, too little water. So it actually gives you real-time data on crop performance so that you can do the necessary tweaks to be able to improve your yields.
In 2023, the West African Confederation, ECOWAS, launched a food resilience program to strengthen food security in the region. The program aims to reach more than 300,000 farmers in Ghana alone. It wants to encourage the use of technology, including AI, to improve harvest. Agriculture needs to become more efficient and effective in order to provide for an ever-growing population. Farmer Dela Bidia is already on board. He is certain that with the help of the new technology, his next harvest will be successful.
Artificial intelligence can clearly do a lot, but we don't always need high-tech to make a difference. We head now to Zimbabwe. As much as 30% of small-scale banana farmers' produce can get thrown away because it can't be sold. But one creative agronomist came up with an idea to make something out of it instead.
Bananas are a key crop for many farmers here in Zimbabwe's Manicaland province. But bananas can be tricky. They don't store well, they suffer during transportation, and sometimes they simply remain unsold. That's why around a third of the harvest frequently ends up as waste. Bright Nzomba has 2 hectares of banana plants. He found the high losses frustrating.
Companies, they will take first grade, B grade, and the farmers will remain with the C grade and the rejects. So with that ongoing process, I realized that we are losing a lot of bananas. So we started to finding ways to mitigate those losses and how best we can do that. That's when an idea of processing bananas came.
After all, the unsold bananas are still a valuable source of nutrition, even when they're in a different form. The agronomist founded a company, Nezox Brands. It now processes the unsellable bananas from more than 40 local small-scale farms. The bananas are cut into small pieces and the slices are then put into solar-powered drying cabinets until they're fully dried. The production process is climate-friendly. That's important for Bright Nzomba because he and his neighbours are already feeling the effects of climate change. The region is getting hotter and drier, and that's impacting harvests. A proportion of the bananas are ground into flour, then packaged and sold. The company also makes fruit snacks from dried banana skins. Thanks to Bright Nzomba, local farmers can now earn money on their whole yield, whether their bananas are perfect or not.
And now, from bananas to nuts, shea nuts, no less. These oil-rich seeds are used to produce shea butter that is used in moisturizers. In Ivory Coast, a women's cooperative has made the shift from unsustainable tree bark harvesting to producing organic shea butter.
That's right, Sandra. And this women's initiative benefits not only individuals, but also the wider community and the local environment. These women know that if you stick together, you can do wonders.
A quick check to ensure they have enough provisions, then these members of a women's cooperative set off on a 15-kilometer journey. The terrain in this part of Ivory Coast can be quite rough, especially during rainy season. But even swollen rivers can't stop the women. Upon arrival, they collect nuts from shea trees which they'll turn into shea butter. It is used in cooking and cosmetics and sought after on the world market. But the women find scenes of devastation too, even though this is a protected forest. Farmers have cut down trees to plant fields or stripped them to sell their bark. In traditional medicine, shea bark is used to treat malaria and stomach aches. But without bark, the trees dry out and die. Many of these women once sold tree barks too, but now shea nuts provide them with a more environmentally friendly source of income.
Since we joined the cooperative, we've completely stopped cutting bark. We used to cut a lot. Sometimes we even hurt ourselves while removing it. And without their bark, the trees die. So now we do everything we can to protect the trees.
In 2021, a center to process shea nuts was set up in the village of Wadere Madualaso. Some 200 women work here in a cooperative called Nanka Humina, or We Stick Together. The cooperative has struck a purchase agreement with a Ghana-based company that aims to empower women in this region. As it is harvest season, the women gather and dry as many nuts as they can. Later, they'll cook them to make shea butter. The cooperative has been organic certified. Its processing facility cost around 60,000 euros, most of which came from the international donors, including the EU. The partner firm, Savannah Fruits Company, has a regional office to handle the cooperative's shea butter. International sales are going well thanks to the shea butter's organic certification. Centralizing production on one site was key to the process.
The women used to bring their shea nuts back from the bush and store them in a corner in their house. It was usually the place where they stored chemical fertilizers for their fields or where children would play. The women also processed the nuts at home. But the quality suffered. There was too much contamination when they tried to do it all at home.
Besides the high international demand for organic shea butter, here in the regional center of Dabakala, there is still a brisk trade in tree bark and roots used in traditional medicine. At least 2 big truckloads leave here each week, bound for Ivory Coast's financial capital, Abidjan. Naminata Ouattara used to sell tree bark here and was often away from her family for long periods of time. Now that she is a member of the women's cooperative, that's no longer necessary. She can also afford to buy better food for her family and invest in fish.
We come here every Wednesday when it's market day in Dabakala. Before we never had enough money, but now it's better. I was able to buy 2 crates of fish that I can resell in the village. Through the project, we received 10,000 francs and I used some to buy vegetables.
The extra food is a welcome contribution. Naminata Ouattara's husband, Bele, grows yam and cashew nuts. His other wife also works in the cooperative, and since both women now earn more money, Bele's respect has grown.
My wives helped me buy a sheep for Tabaski, the Feast of the Sacrifice, and they contributed to the purchase of some cattle. My wives have also really helped me to pay for school fees, so I recognize the value of the co-op.
The women are gaining influence in other areas. They often come across fields of yams and cashew nuts illegally planted by local men in their collecting zones. Now, the supervising NGO has allocated them a 30 square kilometer area which is off limits to anyone but the cooperative.
The women who earn their living gathering shea nuts in this area won't allow their husbands or any other people to come in here and plant crops. Our plan is to certify the largest possible area as a biodiversity zone. That will help us to more effectively protect this land and enable its restoration.
The shea trees bring us respect, And in return, we protect them. Now the villagers respect us and value our work.
It's work that not only protects the forest, but also helps women and their families. Proof that environmental protection can benefit everyone.
And there are incentives when it comes to generating climate-friendly power too. Solar modules that can be installed on balconies and terraces are gaining popularity across Europe. But are they really good for the environment? And are they worth the investment? We go to Germany to find out.
Solar power for your own household. That's the promise of so-called balcony solar plants. At home in Berlin, former sales manager Corinna Wieland is just about to have one installed. And she can't wait.
I'm so excited. It's been 2 years since I first started thinking about getting a system up and running.
Balcony solar plants work just like photovoltaic systems on a roof, but on a much smaller scale. They can be set up on a terrace, attached to a balcony railing, or in front of it, like here, with simple brackets. Engineer Robert Dietrich has installed about 100 of them.
Typically, a balcony system consists of 1 or 2 solar modules. These modules contain crystals that convert sunlight into direct current, or DC. This inverter then turns the DC into AC, which is the type of electrical current used in households. Then I simply insert this grounded plug into the socket, and the power is fed into my household. And that's how I can use my solar system to run a mixer or a kettle.
Corinna needs to consume her balcony-generated power fast. Any excess is fed into the public grid. The system is a money saver, according to experts at Germany's Federal Network Agency.
An average household with a comparatively large, well-positioned balcony system in a sunny spot facing south can generate 15% of its electricity consumption using the balcony system.
An appealing prospect. Some 400,000 households operate balcony systems across Germany. But observers believe the real number is double that. Although there's a fine, many people can't be bothered to register their balcony systems, which are gaining popularity across Europe. Critics argue the panels are unsightly and unsuitable for buildings with landmark status. They can damage a facade or even pose a safety hazard when not installed properly. 40 kilometers from Berlin, locals behind a push for a shift to renewable energy favor these decentralized systems.
The advantage is that you don't need to be a homeowner with your own large rooftop full of solar panels. You can use solar energy produced on a small balcony.
In Berlin, Oliver Lang used to research solar cells as a physicist. Today he sells balcony systems. Most models are produced in China, he says. The cheapest costs around 150 euros. For consumers, that investment can pay off quickly.
Currently, if you do the assembly yourself, don't choose expensive brackets and opt for the cheapest balcony power plant model, so one of the Chinese models, which are definitely reliable products that will last several years. And if you're also at home a lot, so that you can make use of the power immediately, then in 3 to 4 years the system will have paid for itself.
But does the environment profit too? After all, it takes a lot of energy to produce photovoltaic panels. But it's worth it, because they harvest as much energy within the space of 2 years as the combined power needed to produce, transport, and eventually dispose of the systems. Of course, panels this size do not have a sweeping impact on Germany's overall power use. First and foremost, balcony power plants serve their owners. Corinna is happy to be making a small contribution to the shift to renewables. Later, she will show off her own new power plant to curious neighbors. Now, all she needs is the sun to come out.
It is so important to feel we have urgency and can do something personally to help our climate. It is very common to worry about it, and that can lead to a sense of helplessness and even disengagement.
That's right, Sandra. But if we were to learn about the problems facing us, more playfully, we might be more motivated, because who doesn't love playing games? The idea inspired an entrepreneur here in Lagos.
The aim is to clear up waste and separate it before the green monster gets you. Siblings Delight and Dominion are testing a new game.
Like me now, I clean the house before I leave for school. So the game is just when you play it, you appear suddenly in the place you are going to clean. So as you are cleaning it, as you are going, you are cleaning it. And you have to avoid the monsters that are coming your way.
At some point, the monsters, it gets difficult as you gradually increase the points. So you just try to avoid the monster to get more points.
It's all about learning to protect the environment in a fun way. The game's developer, Grace James, lives in Lagos, a city where waste disposal is a major problem.
When you look at my background here, you can see that people are continuously polluting the environment. There's literally plastic trash everywhere. Just like my game Green Quest, the player is tasked with a particular quest to clean up the environment. The Green Quest app was actually birthed out of my passion to actually see how communities, both male and female, boys and girls, old people actually, and young people can contribute towards sustainability in a way that is interactive and logical for them.
She and her team have spent 2 years developing the game, pitched at young people aged 7 to 15. The main task in the early levels is to dispose of waste correctly. Then the focus shifts to recycling and using renewable energies to stop climate change. The game's central character is a young woman.
In the game itself, there's a main character. Her name is Nico, and that is actually a tribal name from Kogi State. It's actually Ojo Nico. I try to make it very relatable, and because I feel like this is one of the best ways as well to tell indigenous stories and preserve our culture, right? Are you excited?
The game is still in the test phase. Grace James visits schools to present it. There's also a board game version for those who don't have a computer. The main thing is that it's learning through play.
What inspired me to educate the children, the younger generation, through gaming is I wish I had this opportunity in my own primary school. I wish people could actually do this for me, and I discovered that I could learn more from games, and I just decided to give that to my community because it would have been really nice to have this in my own time.
Environmental protection and climate awareness are not part of the school curriculum in Nigeria. Climate activist Olumide Oduwo and his organization are campaigning to change that.
When you look at the kind of government that we have now, it's always a problem to integrate, a problem with continuity. When you have a government that is very, response to climate change issue, it will be more faster to inculcate that. And when you want to develop a curriculum or you want to add something to curriculum, it takes different stages.
That makes projects and games like Green Quest all the more important. They make children aware of environmental issues and show them what they can do to help solve them.
I am very excited. I played Green Quest today. I realized that if I see trash on the floor, I will dispose it as Nico did inside the game.
Using gaming as a way of tackling climate change is a new approach. It's a strategy, says Grace James, with a lot of potential.
If we don't actually start to take conscious effort, a lot of things are going to impact us. Beyond human beings, even our ecosystem, the animals, our trees, the balance of the environment as a whole. So, and that's one of the reasons why we actually do our advocacy programs, because it's not just about playing games, right? But we found a way to make it so simple and put it in form of a game. So it's a movement generally, and we see that it has very huge potential to actually change the mindset of how future generations see sustainability. So climate change is
and so Grace James is campaigning for environmental protection to be included in the curriculum and hoping her game will be part of it.
Wow, that does look a lot of fun. I can't wait to check it out. So many great ideas to take with us today. We hope you found that too. I am Sandra Kahumza Twinobudio, signing off from Kampala, right here in Uganda.
And I am Chris Alems in Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. And do check out Eco Africa online for more inspiring stories, or write to us at eco@dw.com. See you all again next week.